Alrighty guys, welcome. Thank you for checking out this video here. Today we're going to be going over changing out the differential in a Arrma Big Rock 3S. Only cost about 40 bucks on Amazon, wasn't too bad. This is the Arrma Big Rock, as you guys may know her. I have some mods on it, like these lights. I added some lights to it because you know, you want to drive at nighttime. I had rear lights, but I took them out. I did some aggressive bashing with it, and yeah. But the light's very bright, they work. But this is the Big Rock as you know her. This is the Big Rock as I know her. That custom paint job there. But I painted it up, I switched it up, I got it really nice and pretty, and then I went to take it out and I did some driving, and then I heard a very nasty crunching and grinding, and it was a oh so familiar sound, so I knew what it was, and I said I gotta get to work before I could even enjoy the paint job. Alright, so you're gonna start off with some outside screws. I already kind of cheated and I have a couple of them already undone. You'll have a 2.5 that needs to come out from right up here. Here's another, and it's different shape than the other ones. So don't be confused when you're going through this. Just keep them all kind of separate. All the other ones that come out, these guys here, they're easy. They can all go back in the same, or in different holes. They don't need to go back, so you don't need to worry about remembering exactly which one of these came from what. The only one you really have to worry about is this small little guy here. And he's gonna come out of the middle. Then you switch over to your 2mm, kind of go through these little holes right here on the bumper. You're gonna go all the way through, and you'll be catching 2 screws that are right in here. I already cheated and took these out before, so this will come off easily. Once you get this piece off here with the bumper, you can kind of put it aside for now. Then you have 4 more screws up top that are 2mm that you're gonna have to take out. You got one that's right up here for your shock tower, the top of your shock tower also on the other side. And once you move these out of the way, you have 2 more that are right in here. But once you get these guys out, then all this will be able to fall over. You can remove your drive shafts off and you can separate this. Then this guy comes off. You might have trouble getting this guy off because if you forget about this one little screw far away from everyone else, you have to take that one off to get this off. That's being held on right up here. So once you get that off, you can see inside it's in pretty bad shape. Pretty shredded, pretty bad. And you can see all that shredded plastic that's built up inside. Get that cleaned out before I go ahead and put the new one in. We can kind of slide this out of the way because now we're gonna have to open this case up. All right, we have a 2mm that's up here. This needs to come out. I'm gonna keep these screws particularly separated. It's nice to kind of have some kind of magnetic tray that's gonna help you out. So we get these 2 off inside this. That's why it's very important that you have a long enough bit. Inside this very narrow bit, and then you're gonna have to go through this. There's a screw on the inside that you have to knock out. Hold it very, very tight, the whole gear casing and everything, and work that screw out. Some people have power tools for this case. They'll have a little handy drill bit. That'll help, but you could give it just some old-fashioned elbow grease. I feel like that works best. Once you release that 2mm screw, it's gonna sit inside this casing so you can't lose it. And then this one will come out and you free both of your drive shaft arms. Now you should be able to separate this case. Out comes your input gear with its bearings on it. And there you go. Once we have this off, we need to go ahead and get these. You can see that's pretty gross in there. Some kind of prying device to get these bearings off. This is on there pretty good. Got one of them out. You kind of have to just go underneath that bearing and just twist a little sideways, go under, twist a little sideways, keep it under, twist a little sideways. All right, all of the gears and everything looks the same. Each one of these pins and kind of gears and whatnot, they can only go in like one place. These things kind of should already come assembled. You can't have your cake and eat it too. but you can sure try. All right, so opening it up at first glance, yes, you see it's pretty much hollow inside. So don't be intimidated by this. I know the whole idea of changing something out like this might be a little intimidating, or you might worry, what if I put this in the wrong place and this and this? No, I didn't know anything about RC cars when I first started, and I have quite a few different RC cars now at this point, and you can't always find a video on YouTube about that particular model or that part or your particular issue. Alrighty, so we'll take a look inside. We'll see this thing has a bunch of grease on it. I don't really have any of that, and I forgot about that, so I'm going to try to actually keep some of that. I'm going to take a look at it, and I'm going to take a look at this, and I'm going to compare the two. So I know by looking at this that one of these will go there and the other one will go in the other one. Okay, and then there's two more. These indents right here aren't sticking out as much as the other ones. But then you have these little gears, and these gears will go intertwined with each other, like so. And then you see over there at the very, very top, there's like one more right beyond this. There's one more kind of little perforated circle. That's where this next rod's gonna go. All right, so I got the gears back inside, just the same way this one's assembled. Some are a little bit lower than others, that's okay. So it looks like this one goes in all the way at the bottom, like so. And then we have a bearing, or we have a bushing. So then that's gonna be this part here. That's where I see my little rubber gaskets at, my little bushings. It's right here. One gear goes in and the other goes on top of it. I'm guessing you just take this last one, and on the stock model, it looks like one of these goes into the other one. It's like it has a depression that the other one kind of slides into. On the one that I just purchased, it doesn't look like it has that. They both kind of have these little round notches on the end of them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this gasket, put this gasket on there, because that's how it is on the stock one, and I'm gonna just seat him right in there. You see, if you give it a twist, all the gears turn. That's where this is gonna come into play. Try to get as much of this in there as possible. I wonder if, you know, if regular grease would work for this. Rub it around on these guys individually and then drop them back on there. Rub-a-dub-dub. Time for a screw. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Man, my eyebrows do a real serious thing when I'm thinking. I keep looking up and catching myself. This front-facing camera is a serious, it's a serious judge. Basting some grease all over the top of this, in between the area where the other two are gonna meet. Oh yeah, that sounds nice and smooth, buttery smooth. Not so much now because it's doing that metal on metal stuff. That's why I want to put a good little bit of some grease in there. Now that sounds good now. And once you feel comfortable and confident with that, you go ahead and you close her back up. Got it assembled, got the gears inside of it. This guy turns, the one in the back turns. Sounds a little metally, but that's all right though, because we're dealing with metal. Metal in there, metal on metal. So once we have that, we're gonna go ahead and zip our screws in. Super smart, super nerdy car whiz, RC super god, who's looking at this and like, oh my God, is he putting grease in? Oh God, no. This is how I'm doing it. This is how I've done it before with my rear diff. And the only one to go out since is my front diff, so seems like my rear is still holding on and doing its thing. Again, like I said, you start somewhere. Don't be intimidated of the process. One of those little handy dandy powerful little handheld screwdriver things wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have. My cat-like reflexes, I felt it falling. I caught it. Get them nice and hand tight, but not overly tight. You want to make sure you get the whole casing in there seated, so you might have to do a few rotations around the block. All right, now we have our assembled, and then we have our input gear. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the bearings that are on the stock one, and then we have our bearings, and we have some other pieces that are here together. You know what? I'm thinking that I forgot to put that piece inside. If I did, that could prove to be a problem. Super smart, super nerdy car whiz. Okay. And this is the fun part. Well, that was fun. We have one main center bearing. So what I like to do with these guys, I just take them, I put them in a little rag like this. And I get some old trusty dusty WD-40. And I put WD-40 around the outside of one side. I just do a spritz on one side because that's more than enough. Roll it in between. Make sure I give it a few spins. But if you notice, this is a good time to inspect your bearings. If you notice any of those black seals or anything like that are busted or something, you might want to go ahead and replace them. That side that had the washer on it and the bearing. Reassembling it, you want to go ahead and make sure you put everything just like you found it. Oh yeah, that sounds good in there. These next two bearings are the ones that go over your drive shaft, your input gear. I'll show you that here in a second when I actually put that back together. Spray it off. Tedious process, but a little bit of extra work that you do in the beginning goes a very long way. Proper maintenance on small little internal pieces like this are actually like one of the most important things to do with RCs. You can have this great, magnificent machine and sling it off of some kind of building or tree or jump or ramp or skate park ledge or lip or staircase and break one small itty bitty tiny plastic piece and it disassembles the whole vehicle. One small tiny little T-arm. Trust me, I've dealt with it. So we're just gonna go ahead and put the first one closest against, and then the next one's gonna kind of just sit just like that for right now. Now the inside of our housing. Nasty, cruddy, gross. Nylon brush. In good condition. So this is gonna get locked on here, right here. And we're rocking and rolling with one half of the diff already put together. Then you come over to the other side. You got all that nastiness in there. Brush, brush, scrub, scrub. Checking out my pecs. Looks like I have man boobs going on. I'm a dad. It happens. The dad bod is there. Embrace it. All right, now we have this finished product. We put this guy right on top. We make sure everything looks good. Awesome. All right, so let's get our input gear in there now. You'll see there's a little groove that's inside there. You see that? That's what's gonna go in between your bearings. You're gonna space your bearings out just enough to where they sit on that, with that track in between them. Once you feel comfortable and you got a nice little seated action like that, you can go ahead and close off the top. Throw back in our 2mm hexes. I will stress Loctite and the importance of it, but I don't really use it when it's going into plastic. When you start feeling like it's getting snug, don't keep going because metal will chew through the threading and then your case won't want to sit together. All right, so we finally have this. We have our input gear inside. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to get our drive shaft arms back onto them. This is where the Loctite's important. We got our arm on. Let's get our 2mm hex. Let's get it inside there. And let's get that driven home. And then you get your drive shaft arm. You go ahead and you get that bad boy seated again. Once that's nice and seated all the way on, rinse and repeat. Hold tight. Now you are good. You are good to go. Now, remember, starting off, we were dealing with some really nasty crud that was inside of that. Dollar General, Dollar Tree, get some art supplies. Because you're going to get them really dirty and nasty. But listen, when I tell you they work, close your eyes. You might be wanting to see what you're blowing at and blow. Don't do that. You don't want any of this kind of stuff up in your eye. Oh, You should be wearing eye pro, but you know how silly I would look wearing eye goggles in my house in my dining room with my family walking by. I bet you would look even dumber in the hospital with a in your eye. I probably would in a hospital. In my eye if I did get some in my eye. But again, I do that. In your eye. I look very, very silly when I do, but listen. So now we're looking way better and much more cleaner inside there. You'll notice that one side of the diff case is larger than the other, so obviously that's the side where your gear is gonna go. Get it locked in there. All right, get yourself seated. Nice. Oh, there's still some crud in there. Brush, brush, scrub, scrub. Get that guy nice and cleaned out now. And then this is where I go ham sandwich. Go ahead, slobber that in there like that. And give this a little turn and just pull it through. Get a nice good coating around it and hit it with some more. Now we put this back on top. Now I would suggest before doing anything else, pinching top and bottom, lift this guy up and go ahead and hit that weird screw. All right. So once I got that part assembled up there, now I know he's gonna keep this top part on. I'm not gonna have to worry about that coming apart as I go with the reassembly. This would be easier if I had it facing on my side. So you go ahead and get that guy back on there. And then this is the part where you go ahead and you throw back in those screws. And I'm putting these, this is the top shock tower screw now that I'm going in with. Okay. Now let's go back over to the arm that is giving me trouble. What did I do to you today? That actually just slipped right in there that time. Now we get our next one. Shock tower screw. Go ahead and get this guy a bumper. She's seen some rough days. You go ahead and you go with these clip parts. They go inside first. This comes up. And you lock yourself on there. Now you can go with your 2.5s and run them back in. And see. 3 and 4. Sweet. All right, and there you have it. The Arrma Big Rock 3S front diff swap. Thank you for checking out the video. As always, bash that like button, bash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and check out more videos as I release them. I'm Josh with RC Road Rash. Thanks for checking out the video. All right. How do I introduce? What do I say? Hello, YouTube world.
I don't know.
To a video that has
I
no.
don't watch enough YouTube stuff like that to even know.
Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel.
And then it's like, here, this is me, and now I talk.
Yeah, this is it. All right, well, here we go.